This video is for all you parents out there. I'm going to share with you a piece of advice that has helped me keep a very close relationship with all three of my adult children over the years. As parents, it's really hard most times when our kids are getting older and maybe they don't want to hang out with us quite so much. Maybe they don't tell us everything that we want them to tell us. You know, lots of times like this starts in the teenage years. Maybe they become more independent. Maybe they don't want to be so micromanaged. Now, obviously, we still need to be a parent and have our rules and all of those things and be there. But maybe they want to practice doing a little of decision making on their own and being able to be a little more independent. And sometimes as parents, we can hold on so tightly because our life doesn't look like we wanted it to look at that point. Maybe we hoped that our kids would always be super close to us. We would always do things together as a family. And things would just be different. And especially, you know, if you're a divorced parent, there's a whole lot of other stuff that comes into play that can make things really hard when you're a parent. So some advice I got once, which I'm a divorced parent, so this came in very handy in multiple situations. It was just be a parent when your kids need you to be a parent. So just be a parent when your kids need you to be a parent. And that is really hard to do sometimes. Very hard. It takes a lot of self-discipline, self-restraint. But it has made it so that I still have great relationships with my kids. There are times where I'm sure I could have held on too tightly, or I could have insisted that they be less teenager-like and maybe spend more time with me instead of getting to hang out with their friends and all of these things. I could have held on so tightly and wanted them to go to college, you know, really close to home. Instead, I think the closest one was like 12 and a half hours away from where I lived. So like 12 and a half to 21 hours, I think. But they got to follow their dreams because I was willing to give them the space to do that. And they got to make a lot of decisions for themselves. Obviously, I was there to be supportive and there to answer questions and there to guide them. But they got to learn to be self-sufficient and learn to live like we're all supposed to do as we get older. And sometimes that's really hard to let go a little bit and let that happen. And I firmly believe that if I hadn't been willing to let go a little bit in a lot of situations, that I would not be nearly as close to my kids as I am today. And I'm close to all three of my kids. Not living wise. We live, two of us or three of us live near each other. One lives 6 hours away, and I'm sure a couple of them will end up clear across the country from me eventually. And that's okay because they're adults. They're following their dreams. They're getting to be adults. They're going to have their own families. So even as we get older, our life isn't always going to fit the picture that we thought our life would look like at this point. But we're adults, so that's for us to deal with. And we just have to do our best to let our kids be themselves and let them grow up, and things are going to be different. It's just the way it is. So remember, be a parent when your kids need you to be, and they will always need you to be at some points in their lives, no matter how old they get. So be a parent when your kids need you to be, and you will enjoy life so much more. It's hard, but you will have a much nicer life because your kids will really appreciate that. Thank you for joining me today for the Rebecca Reset, where every day we reset your mind so you can be better, do better, and get the life you love. Please like and subscribe.